So, hi guys, we'll be starting with defamation and torts. Again, Winfield की definition important आ जाती है यहाँ पर. Defamation is the publication of a statement which lowers a person or injures his reputation in the estimation of right-thinking members of the society. Easy. मैंने आपको पहले भी डिफेमेशन के बारे में समझा दिया कि डिफेमेशन दो भागों में डिवाइडेड है. एक डिफेमेशन दो भागों में डिवाइडेड है. एक बोलते हैं लाइबल, एक को बोलते हैं स्लैंडर. लाइबल इज पब्लिकेशन of a defamatory statement in some permanent form without justification. And slander is defamatory statement in a transient form. Transient मतलब verbal form without legal justification that injuries the reputation of another. Right? कब slander actionable होगा इस बात को समझना पड़ेगा हमें. In the following situations जो मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ, which is accusation of offense, accusation of a virulent disease, imputation against one's profession, aspersions of women's chastity मतलब किसी महिला के ऊपर आप डिफेमेटरी स्टेटमेंट पास कर रहे हैं तो वो भी इसके अंतर्गत आएगा. एंड aspersion of one's caste as well is included here. राइट. एसेंशियल्स ऑफ डिफेमेशन क्या क्या है अब हम ये पढ़ लेते हैं. लाइबल में क्या है. फर्स्ट, वर्ड्स मस्ट बी डिफेमेटरी एंड फॉल्स. राइट. A statement is defamatory if it exposes the plaintiff to hatred, ridicule, or criticism. It tends to injure his profession or trade. And thirdly, it causes social ostracization. और इस समाज में उत्पीड़ना ये पैदा कर रहा है. ये जो भी लिखा गया है किसी इंसान के खिलाफ. राइट. Defamatory nature of a statement is judged by the impression it creates in the minds of right-thinking members of society. And the defamatory system should also be false. Truth is an absolute defense against defamation. Truth एक defense है, इस बात का ध्यान रखना है. Innuendo क्या होता है? A prima facie innocent statement may be defamatory due to latent meaning as it may injure a man's reputation. ठीक है. Next, words must refer to the plaintiff. There should be an intention to defame, not necessary liability, for libel does not depend on the defamer's intention, but on the fact of defamation eventually. Then there is this case of Garbett versus Hill. A magazine posted a picture of P, a photographer, next to semi-naked woman, and at the cost of this picture, this lent the impression that P deals in such picture. D was not held liable for defamation eventually. The defendant. Defamation of a class of persons is not actionable per se. ठीक है. Publication. Publication means making the defamatory material known to some person other than the person defamed. The publication need not to be intentional. It may be negligent as well. Example, publishing defamatory matter in postcard invite may itself invite liability, as there is a high probability of postcard being read by someone else. Proof of publication is not required here. Then, truth. डिफेंसेस क्या क्या है मैंने आपको बताया. ट्रूथ है एक तो. सिविल एक्शन में ट्रूथ ऑफ द डिफेमेटरी मैटर इज कंप्लीट डिफेंस. अच्युत्थान वर्सेस देशम भिमानी प्रिंटिंग हाउस का एक केस था, उसमें बोला भी गया. सेकंड, हाउएवर इन अ क्रिमिनल एक्शन सेक्शन 356/499 of IPC, the accused is required to prove not just truth of the statement but also public interest. This is because libel has the tendency to provoke breach of public peace, more so when it reflects the truth. Then, फेयर कमेंट में क्या होता है? जनरली अ डिफेंस अवेलेबल टू मीडिया पर्सन्स एंड क्रिटिक्स. Fair in the expression connotes honesty along with relevance. The privilege does not extend to the calumnious remarks on the private character of a person. Then, fairness is not judged by the standard of the reasonable man. The critic has the liberty so long as his comment amounts to fair criticism. However, the criticism should not be mere invective, nor should it contain any personal imputations based on the fact. पर्सनल imputation नहीं होने चाहिए, इस बात का ध्यान रखना है. देन, तुषार क्रांति घोष वर्सेस बीना भौमिक. Defendant published an article in response to an attack on his press by union workers. Defendant was held liable for defamation as the article contained untrue and libelous facts regarding the plaintiff. Conditions to fair comment. The comments must be fair, that is, facts should be truly stated and the inference drawn must be supported by stated facts. Some observations by way of comment may be added provided they are reasonable inferences. And thirdly, some exaggeration is allowed provided it is not mere invective and does not amount to untrue facts which is there. Right. Thirdly, privilege क्या होता है? Exists when a person stands in such relation to the facts as he is justified in publishing what would otherwise be defamatory or others. दो तरीके के privilege होते हैं, एक होता है absolute privilege and the other one is the qualified privilege. What is absolute privilege? Where the public interest demands that, just a second, where the public interest demands that a person's right to reputation yields to freedom of speech. आर्टिकल 105 कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में बताया जो एमपीज के लिए प्रिविलेजेस होते हैं. प्रोटेक्ट द स्टेटमेंट मेड बाय पार्लियामेंटेरियंस ड्यूरिंग द कोर्स ऑफ प्रोसीडिंग्स ऑफ द हाउस. Then absolute privilege also applies to court proceedings. There can be no action against judges, lawyers, and parties or for words written or spoken in the course of any proceedings before any court, even though such words may be written or spoken maliciously without any justification or excuse. Second is known as the qualified privilege. Publication should be without malice. With a privilege occasion, it is based on the principle that such communications are protected for common convenience and welfare of the society. Then, malice is an exception to qualified privilege. ठीक है, malice का मतलब क्या हुआ? Malice means using the privilege occasion for an improper or evil motive. ठीक है, वो ये मैलिफाइड इंटेंशन आ जाती है यहाँ पर. बॉक्सियस वर्सेस गोल्डबर्ट का एक केस था. A solicitor instructed his clerk to type under instructions from his client a letter addressed to B containing defamatory statements about B. It was held that the communication was made on a privileged occasion. Right. For proving defamation on P, for proving defense to defamation on D, libel is actionable per se. Thus, it is not necessary to prove actual damage, provided the material could damage one's reputation. However, a special damage has to be proved in case of slander, and damage has to be eventually quantifiable. The remedy for defamation क्या है? Damages are the most common remedy. An injunction may also be granted to prevent further publication of the defamatory statements or the newspapers or anything which is printed. Apology होती है. It can be used to avoid liability for defamation if accepted by the injured person. It has to be prompt, sincere, and published equally widely. एक केस था करण जिया वर्सेस ठाकर से. Defendant published articles attacking P's business and also made allegations against the finance and family being part of the larger business racket. Defendant pleaded the truth, fair comment and qualified privilege, and all were rejected as truth could not be established by D. Fair comment नहीं establish हो पाया and qualified privilege was not made out because malice था और lack of privileged occasion था. ठीक है. राजेश राम वर्सेस एकनाथ का एक केस है. द डिफेंस ऑफ फेयर कमेंट applies to expressions of opinion, not to statement of fact. Opinion होना चाहिए, इस बात का ध्यान रखना है. ठीक है. Further, the defense of qualified privilege did not apply as the publication itself was eventually malicious. So this was in respect to defamation. I hope you liked the video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and have a great day ahead.